ARCANE Season 2 is upon us, and if you're concerned that maybe your memory of Season 1 is not the freshest and there are details you've forgotten about, worry not. I rewatched the entire series so you don't have to, and here's the recap. Let's go! We meet a ragtag group of orphan children from the Undercity, sisters Vi and Powder, Clagor and Milo. They break into a fancy building on the top side, the rich part of town, and after finding some nice, shiny treasures to steal, they blow things up. See, the lab they robbed housed some mysterious, very unstable crystals that go boom when you hit them hard enough. The kids run away, but not before Powder manages to put one of the shiny rocks in her pocket. This is important as Powder is perceived as the weakest and most useless of the group and struggles with that self-image a lot. Upon their return to the lanes, you guessed it, the poor part of town, they get into a scuffle with other locals, losing all their newfound goodies in the process. That, and because they even attempted such a risky and dangerous job, gets them a stern talking to from Vander, their adoptive father. We see Vi, a de facto leader of the group, struggle with the concept of laying low, but she seems to listen to Vander when he explains that she is responsible for her people and should set a good example. And just in time, because the kids' robbery grabbed the attention of enforcers, so police. One of the enforcer officers comes to talk to Vander and warns him about the upcoming consequences of the break-in, which might be bigger than anticipated. We close the episode with Silco, a dark lord of the Undercity that obviously wishes Vander the worst and plans to use his mysterious purple substance to achieve world domination? We're back at the scene of the crime. We see the robbery from episode 1 from the other point of view. Jace and Caitlin, two young friends, are about to enter the lab when it explodes. Turns out Jace, who's a student, scientist, and privately a big fan of magic, was using the lab for his research. Yes, the Boom Boom crystals were his, and also kinda illegal. He tries to explain himself to Victor, the Science Academy employee sent to help with investigating the explosion, but to no avail. Enforcers take Jace away for questioning. Questioning turns into trial, and Jace is promptly expelled from the academy, his work to be destroyed. Simultaneously, enforcers are flooding the Undercity, trying to find the culprit. Despite the kids lying low, they are still in danger of being discovered, especially since Powder has that explosive crystal on her. People of the lanes are arguing, some wanting to fight the oppression and unlawful raids on their homes, some preferring to wait everything out. Vi is one of the feisty ones, at least until Vander talks to her again and explains that one rebellion already took place and they lost. Badly. They talk about what it means to be a leader, and Vi realizes that she has a way to take the blame for the whole explosion thing, possibly saving many of the Undercity people in the process. Back in the topside, Jace doesn't realize that his trial piqued interest of not one, but two people. City Councillor Mel, who sees the potential of his new magic technology, and Victor, who we've met before. The latter approaches Jace at his lowest point and offers his help. Together, they can break into the lab before it's disposed of and do some final testing. Mel actually helps here as well, allowing the boys to access the building and not telling on them. We also see Silco again, this time feeding his purple juice to a human who instantly turns into a murderous, OP creature. Vi tries to take the blame and calls the enforcers to take her in, but is last minute discovered by Vander, who hides her in a basement and offers himself up instead. Which would be great, if not for Silco's creature guy we saw in the last episode. He attacks, and before anyone realizes what's going on, a few people are dead and Vander is kidnapped. Why, you may ask? Because the rebellion he talked to Vi about was actually his and Silco's dream. They used to be best buddies that fought for freedom together, but then had a serious disagreement and Vander almost killed Silco, so yeah, there's history there. Vi, who saw the whole bloody attack from the basement she was locked in, gets home and immediately sets out on a rescue mission. She takes her group with her, but tells Powder to stay behind and that the mission is way too much for her. That sets Powder off in a little mental breakdown spin, has her create a bomb with the magic crystal and follow the rest without them knowing. Back in the lab, Jace and Victor actually manage to get the result they wanted. Despite being discovered at the last minute, they get the crystals to stabilize and actually create usable, synthetic magic power. At the same time, Vi and the kids are fighting hard to get Vander back. It doesn't go well, but when all seems to be lost, a huge explosion goes off, killing Milo and Klaga, destroying the building and injuring almost everyone. But hey, most of Silco's people get disposed of as well, so that's a win. Vander gets up somehow, and with the rest of his strength saves Vi from the ruins, and then promptly departs the realm of living as well. That's when Powder comes out, happy to see her sister alive, but also kinda excited that her explosive finally worked. Vi, in a moment of rage and pain after losing so many loved ones, confronts her violently, calling her a jinx and leaving. She tries to come back, but is taken by the enforcers. That's how Silco finds Powder, hysterical and alone in the burning ruins. He takes her in and offers his help. Time skip! We learned that the magic crystals, or hextech, were a huge invention, leading to the city developing like never before. Jace and Victor are now famous and renowned scientists. We are quickly introduced to their new work, a continuation of hextech, new, modified crystals that are not unsafe anymore and can power any device you can dream of. Our duo dreams of improving the world and using hextech for good. However, after being warned about the possible consequences, Jace makes the executive decision not to unveil their idea just yet. At the same time, we see what is up with the Undercity, and things are not great. Streets are flooded with shimmer, Silco's purple juice that essentially is a drug. We see huge quantities of it being transported around, but not without any resistance. There's a group called Firelights that attacks one of the shipments, attempting to blow it up. They are, however, stopped by Jinx, formerly known as Powder, who acts as Silco's helper and general. And she is also not doing too hot. We see her confused about her sister hearing voices and seeing things that are not there. Attempting to prove herself, she starts a fire in the top side and steals one of the new crystals. Wow, where have we seen that before? This sets the council off into panic mode. They realize how dangerous the technology is in the wrong hands. Mel, being a counselor, uses this crisis to elevate Jace to a counselor as well, giving him a lot of power. Finally, we see Caitlyn. Remember Caitlyn, Jace's friend? Well, she is now an enforcer and determined to get to the bottom of things. She starts her own investigation that leads her to a prison where she wants to question one of the Shimmer crime lords. Who she finds instead is Vi. Caitlyn realizes that Vi knows a lot about the Undercity and using the power of friendship, so Jace and his new influence, she gets her out of prison. They go to the lanes, both to investigate and because Vi, not aware of the whole Jinx situation, is determined to find her sister, Powder. Instead, she finds some people who betrayed her father and now work for Silco, and she starts a fight. That's how she finds out what happened to Powder. Oh, and gets stabbed. In the city, Victor and Jace have a bit of an argument. See, Victor still wants to pursue hextech development, hoping it would eventually cure his rapidly deteriorating health. Jace, however, is a bit too into being a politician now. Admittedly, he's really good at playing the game, but he does seem to sacrifice some of his morals in the process. He also gets closer, real close, to Mel, who seems to both help and influence him greatly. Victor lands in hospital with a grim prognosis. He doesn't have much time left. Jace, who rushes to his side, is informed about the newest hextech breakthrough. The crystal seems to react to organic matter. Excited about it potentially being a cure for his friend, Jace agrees instantly when Victor mentions a past mentor of his and suggests including him in the research. To be fair, he probably didn't listen too carefully because he spends the rest of the episode being a politician and campaigning for closing the border between the Undercity and Topside. In the Undercity, a very seriously injured Vi is administered a dose of Shimmer potion, which instantly makes her feel better. Not everything is going her way though, because immediately after she runs into Silco. They have a brief conversation about Jinx, but before Silco's men can attack, Vi and Caitlyn manage to collapse an overhead structure, allowing them to escape. That's not the last reunion of the night, however. Vi and Powder finally meet. They have a pretty lovely conversation until Kate catches up. Her presence sets off Jinx's jealousy and she ends up blushing out. The rebel Firelights join the fray, kidnapping both Vi and Caitlyn, stealing the new crystal from Jinx and disappearing into the night. Victor visits his old friend / mentor, who turns out to be an Undercity scientist. He offers Victor a shimmer potion, which, in his eyes, should aid with the organic hextech transformation. Vi wakes up in the Firelight's HQ and realizes that their leader is an old friend of hers, Echo. Both of them have a chat with Caitlyn and establish a plan. Kate will use her topside influence to plead for help for the Undercity, and they will give back the hextech crystal as a token of good faith. The three of them leave for the border, hoping to get through despite the tight security. We see Silco struggling to keep his own lackeys in check. They blame all their current problems on him being too soft with Jinx. He forces them to comply, however. Back in the council, Mel tries to convince Jace to use the new hextech discoveries to manufacture weapons. She calls it safety measures. At the same time, without anyone knowing, Victor decides that he doesn't care anymore and prepares to start his Shimmer / Hextech crossover experiment. The test subject? Himself, baby! At the border crossing, Vi, Kate and Echo are attacked by, surprise, Jinx. Echo allows the ladies to leave and tries to fight on his own, but eventually Jinx blows both of them up. She did manage to steal back the crystal, however, and that's how Silco finds her. Jinx is in a really bad state, so Silco rushes her to the same guy that spoke to Victor and orders him to save her life by any means necessary. In the city, Kate and Vi prepare to still approach the council. They don't have the crystal anymore to offer up, but they want to make their case anyway. It falls on deaf ears though. The council chooses to pursue a diplomatic route, not action that Vi requested. Jace is the one that disagrees, so when approached by Vi later, privately, he actually decides to take an unauthorized action, get some enforcers, and attack a shimmer factory that Vi suggested as a target. During that attack, however, he accidentally kills a kid, which makes him back out and also join the diplomatic effort. Victor is back, and he is pretty devastated. His experiment with organic hextech caused the death of one of the lab assistants. He gives up on his dreams, urging Jace to destroy the organic technology. Finally, we see Kate sad about parting ways with Vi. She does not get much time though, because Jinx breaks in and kidnaps her. Silco is losing ground with his people again. Not only is Jinx acting up, but now their shimmer production line has been destroyed. That pushes him to meet with Jace and offer a truce. Silco will leave the topside alone in exchange for the Undercity's independence. Jace agrees under one condition. Jinx needs to be captured and given to the enforcers. Vi is once again looking for revenge in the Undercity. After a vicious fight with Silco's second-in-command, she passes out and wakes up in confines. Can you guess? Yep, Jinx kidnapped her as well. They talk about their relationship and the possibility of mending it, but before they can run off into the sunset, Jinx unveils a surprise. Both Silco and Caitlyn are also locked up in the same room. Vi is forced to choose. She can have her sister back if she shoots Caitlyn. Otherwise, Jinx will pick to remain at Silco's side. Vi tries to get through to Powder, remind her of their childhood, all the friends they lost, but all she manages to do is set Jinx off. In a blind rage, Jinx fires off a gun and hits Silco. His death kills whatever was left of Powder, leaving only Jinx behind. She exits, saying goodbye to her sister and closing that chapter of her life for good. In the city, Council votes for Silco's deal, not aware of anything that just happened. And as they actually vote for the Undercity's independence, a huge missile approaches. Jinx, torn with grief, uses the stolen crystal to attack the topside. And that's it! I hope you're excited for season 2. If you are, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to watch the premiere together with me and many more people, join the Twitch broadcast, links in the description below. I'll catch you later. See ya!